This is Brad from Gibson A's Hardware in Clinton, Illinois. Stop in to see us, the helpful place at 114 North Madison Street, Clinton.
See participating store for details.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Mr. Ryan Peyton is the superintendent of Blue Ridge Schools and is my guest on the Zoom today. Mr. Peyton, how are you, sir?
Good, Seth. How are you today?
I am well. The light is at the end of the tunnel, my friend. We can see the end of the school year, and man, the year flew by, but the summer's almost here. How about that?
Yeah, it's bittersweet, right? It's always, we love being in the school year. That's one cool thing about school is there's always kind of a beginning and the end, and it kind of marks growth throughout the year, and then kind of that next journey and that next step. So yeah, we're excited. We had graduation on Sunday, and we had 44 seniors that came through, and then 8th grade promotion was on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of a cool opportunity. Both groups are kind of transitioning to a new part of life.
Yep, very good. So I'm sure the kids don't feel like it's bittersweet. I think they're ready to be out of school and off to the summer. But I know that's from your perspective as the administrator for sure. But what does end of school year look like? I mean, you mentioned graduation this weekend. Any traditions, rituals Blue Ridge does to put a bow on the year?
Oh, I mean, I think there's kind of all sorts of things, obviously, just a variety of honors type events that happen. We have our spring concert, FFA banquets. I mean, there's just a large amount of things. Then obviously on those last days, a lot of it is, the K3 building, pre-K3 building does some field day opportunities and assembly, which is great to kind of recognize the student accomplishments and achievements, but also recognizes volunteers that we have that come into the building throughout the school year and really support classrooms and teachers, which we really value those individuals doing that, right? It's great to have that community support and people assisting inside the school setting just to, create better learning experiences.
Very good. Very good. Well, let's dive into Mr. Peyton as we catch up here for the morning. I know the school year is about wrapped up. What's coming up this summer at Blue Ridge Schools? What are y'all working on? What's going on there?
Yeah, we've got a lot going on this summer. It is a heavy kind of facilities-driven improvement area. So we've got a huge tuck pointing project that is taking place at Snyder Elementary and at kind of the junior high area in Mansfield, which just looks at, replacing some brick and some mortar, working some lintel work, and just really creating a better infrastructure there in both of those spaces. They're in good shape, but we just want to make sure that they are in top quality shape so that way they last for a very long time. And it's important to have good facilities so people have pride in the community. Mm-hmm. We've got that project. We've got some second floor insulation project here at the high school that we're working on to reduce some condensation that's happening. Mm-hmm. One of the huge ones that we have obviously is our Snyder Elementary playground that we have being installed. I think that's actually equipment will start arriving early next week, and they'll begin kind of moving ground and paving the way to create an awesome new play structure for our pre-K through third grade students. We also have another classroom conversion project that we're working on at Snyder, and just, the summer is full of just standard routines, cleaning, waxing floors, deep cleaning, just maintenance things and repairs. So it is going to be a busy summer in regards to facilities. Mm-hmm. I will say that too, we're just doing a lot of planning for next school year also, just as far as the academic side and systems within the buildings. One of the big things that we are doing is implementing professional learning communities. And so we will have some early dismissals next year, a few of those throughout the year, about 6. There are 1:30 dismissals where we'll just have some opportunities to really dive into student data, looking at instructional practices, how can we adjust those instructional practices just to really impact student achievement and student growth. So there's a lot of work that goes into that behind the scenes so that we have systems ready when we kick off next school year. Gotcha.
Very nice. As it relates to those kind of, I think some districts kind of call them data days, that sort of thing. What is the, I guess, what's the purpose of those? Is it, a kind of just kind of an assessment in real time of where you're at? Is it for adjustment? Is it for strategic planning? I mean, what do you envision those looking like, and the purpose they'll serve?
Yeah, I think you hit upon all three of them, right? I mean, to me, it's a strategic planning process. I mean, one of our big goals is student achievement and growth, right? And so, we had to look at a mechanism that really helped us continue to grow. And that's an important, continuous improvement is a big piece, right? We want to continually grow. We have some of those systems in place, but we want to continue to build them. And so that's part of our strategic plan. But yes, you're exactly what you said. They are diagnostic and informative days, right? So, we can utilize the data that we look at and decide, hey, maybe we're seeing a gap in this area in a classroom. Those teachers could then, use some of that time to research specific strategies, and things that could, provide positive outcomes for those students and to fill those gaps, and then basically create a plan. And then in another month, assess and measure the success that they've had during that time. And then if it works, great, let's continue. If it's not, we need to do some more research and adjust and figure out what is our next step so that we can get those students where they need to be. So, just that's exactly kind of what our focus will be. And we're excited to jump on that new adventure.
Do you have like a curriculum director? Do you have curriculum coaches, anything like that in the district?
Yeah, so we do have a curriculum coordinator, Paige Trimble. She's done an amazing job for us. So, another part of our strategic plan is that we're continually monitoring, curriculum and kind of that cycle of review. And so we've been doing a lot of that recently. I think I talked about at the beginning of the year, we implemented a new ELA curriculum, CKLA or Amplify.
What's ELA?
ELA, good question. Sorry, that's a lot of acronyms in education. English Language Arts. So we have implemented, that new curriculum. We're going to actually begin here pretty soon. We actually have kind of started some math curriculum reviews. So kind of looking at our current math curriculum, K through 12, kind of seeing where it sits as far as the criteria that make kind of strong evidence-based. And then what we're going to do next year is really look at options and see, is this something that we want to adjust and change for upcoming school years? And yeah, just kind of make sure that we're constantly evolving and making sure that what we're teaching is up to date and evidence based.
You're in your first year, Mr. Peyton, and Dr. Stanifer, who we both have an immense amount of respect for. The question of all of these things happening that you're taking up. A lot of folks may say, "Gosh, was this something we should have been doing a long time ago? Why didn't Dr. Stanifer do this when she was here? That sort of thing." But oftentimes, and I'll let you kind of tell this story from the Blue Ridge perspective. But oftentimes, these things are just kind of a part of an evolution of how a district, kind of approaches things. I don't know. Tell that story from a Blue Ridge side of things.
Yeah, no, I think you're head on, and it's not. Dr. Sanford did an amazing job, and she set the foundation, right? And my goal when I stepped into this position is I always just wanted to make sure we continue to grow and excel. But she paved the way and kind of set the foundation for early out days. I mean, we were noticing that we needed more time to have dialogue amongst professionals, and I just kind of helped carry it on and put it into play. So everything grows upon what was there prior to. So she did an amazing job in her leadership, and I can't say enough about the work that she did, and we were thankful to have her in the district for 5 years. And she was a great mentor for me as well, and many other staff members within our school district and outside of the school district. I mean, she's such a passionate woman to the point where she is still teaching today. She went back into the classroom to teach math, which is a passion that she had. So yeah, a lot of the success that we have and have had recently, I really do. I would say Dr. Sanford was a pivotal piece in that.
None of you administrators ever actually retire. It's take 6 months off and then it's off to something else. I mean, none of you guys. I know I don't know how close to retirement you are. I think we're about the same age. So if you're anything like me, that's still way down the road at least. But
it is way down the road for me. Yep. That's over a decade, I believe. So I've got definitely some time to continue to hopefully build a great space here, and that's my goal. Being from this community, I really value and want to make sure that we provide the best opportunities that we can for our stakeholders. And, I have family members here and friends and so on. And so I want to make sure that, this space will be a high achieving and high quality, education institution for quite some time.
Sure. By the way, I just remembered this. I know we had talked, this is kind of a little inside baseball for folks at home. We had talked last time you were on, you mentioned like you like to work out and that sort of thing. And I had reached out to a couple other superintendents in the area who work out, and they're well put together guys like yourself. And one of them was Mr. Spang down in Mount Pulaski.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, Miss Peyton, he had an interesting story about you. You two were apparently rivals in sports in high school. And did he hit a home run off you in a big game? You hit a home run off of him? What? I can't remember.
Well, I think he hit the home run off of a team that we were. It was a pitcher that was on our team, not off of me. No. I'm not going to let him have that one. But he did hit a home run, I think, against one of our top pitchers that we had, who did play college baseball. So yeah, Mr. Spang, he's a good guy. Was a good athlete, absolutely. And I will say, I was thinking about this earlier today, but that is something that, our profession as superintendents, we have a really strong network that's out there, and a very supportive network that I'm thankful for. I can call Mr. Spang, or I can call Mr. Ibbotson, or Mr. Goebel, or Dr. Tresnick, and they will pick up the phone and talk through ideas, and brainstorm together. And I'm very thankful to have that type of network, because there's people who have more knowledge than I do in certain areas, and I want to make sure that I utilize that to make the best decision.
Yeah.
But yes, going back to Mr. Spang, yeah, he's a really good guy. And I know the Hilltoppers are very, very lucky to have him.
Yeah. And I know, being that you and Mr. Spang were athletes back in the day, I asked him if Mr. Clapp in Monticello, because Mr. Clapp was a good athlete at Oakwood.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, back in the day. And I've heard, this is really, we're way off the beaten path, by the way. So forgive me, listeners, forgive me. We're way off the beaten path. I have heard people in Oakwood still talk about Mr. Clapp, and like he was a really good quarterback, I guess, and just the stuff.
Yeah, he was at Oakland. Yeah, I think he was at Oakland. I think is where he had, like a Tri-County guy. Yeah. So when I started my teaching career, I started at Heritage, and then I became a high school principal at Heritage. And so Mr. Clapp at that time was a high school principal down in the Tri-County area, and he was the president of our conference. So I got to meet him, and I got to hear, I heard quite a bit of stories about how he was a really great athlete.
Yeah.
He's another awesome guy too. I left him out in the beginning, but he's one too that I can reach out to, whether it's a winter day or any type of academic issue or anything going on, that will answer the phone call. So we have some pretty good former athletes, I guess, around the area that are filling those superintendent roles at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Now he's a little older than you, is he not?
Yeah, and we didn't really go down there and play much. We were up here. We played more in the SVC, and so we actually went more kind of north. At that time.
Yeah,
Watseka,
right. Yeah,
West and Gibson. Those schools where they were further south, but we didn't encounter them very often.
By the way, this leads me. This is probably maybe a little outside your purview as superintendent, but do you hope to see athletics revitalized a little bit over there? Like, I know we'll talk about this on the other side of the break, but you had a track meet on a renovated facility there. Like, what's your take on your sports programs right now?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's something that we're continually looking to grow and to improve. So we have a new AD this year, Jim Kirkton, at the high school level. And so he's done some really great work for us over the last, especially this second semester. He got together our high school coaches and really created a strategic plan for our athletics program, athletics and activities. And so, kind of looking at similar values and terminology and goals that we have as athletics programs and coaches, and trying to get everybody on the same page collectively, so that we can continue to see success. And so we're very excited about the work that Jim has done. Mm-hmm. He's also our assistant principal, but we want to continue to see our athletic programs grow,
and it wasn't that long ago. Blue Ridge had really thriving programs. I mean, a thriving baseball team, a thriving basketball program. That wasn't that long ago,
No. And there's peaks and valleys, right? Depending on when things come through. And so we see that a lot when you have we're about 156 kids at the school, right? So, at one point, we've lost a lot of enrollment over the past 10 to 15 years. So that definitely impacts, what's coming through from time to time. But, we definitely are trying to put together some good teams. And, we've got a young group that's coming up, and both kind of female and male sports that, I think will help continue to build some of these programs over the next few years.
Very good. I know we got way off the beaten path there, Mr. Peyton, but it's always fun to talk about some things like that from time to time. How do folks follow along with all things Blue Ridge Schools and what you got going on?
Yeah, so we have a Blue Ridge 18 app, so it's a great way to kind of get notifications and updates. And then obviously blueridge18.org is our website where you can find an abundance of information. Then also Facebook is another great place you can find us, the Blue Ridge School District.
That is Mr. Ryan Peyton, Superintendent of Blue Ridge Schools, my guest on the Zoom here for this morning. More to come with Mr. Peyton on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Lower across the board with corn, beans, and Chicago wheat. July corn down 7 3/4, 467.5. September corn 474 3/4, down 6 3/4. December corn 491 1/4, down 6 1/2. July beans down 11 1/2, 11.98. August beans down 11 1/4, 11.98 1/2. November beans 11.92, down 11. July Chicago wheat 660.5, down 6 3/4. July KC wheat 701 1/4, down 2 1/2. July bean meal down 220, 330.10. July bean oil 74.93, down 51 cents. Livestock trade August feeders 360.37, down 327. June live cattle down $1.87, 252.67. June lean hogs down 20 cents, 97.72. Energy market July Brent crude oil 106.53, down 4.75.
Hey, it's Shane from Highway 51 Exchange, your mower and equipment service pros just south of Clinton. Click our banner ad on DeWittDailyNews.com or give us a call to schedule your free pickup and delivery today. Highway 51 Exchange.
Spring brings brighter days and more time to enjoy them. Your home should too. At Hickory Point Garden Homes in Forsyth, enjoy one-story living and walking paths right outside your door. Spend less time on upkeep and more time enjoying spring. To learn more, click RIHAM at DeWittDailyNews.com.
The Illinois Emergency Management Agency has designated WHOW's many platforms on AM and FM, as well as WEZC 95.9 FM, as standby radio stations for emergency messages to be sent for severe weather, as well as for the Clinton Power Station. We also have a direct link to the National Weather Service for watches or warnings to air immediately when they're issued. Keep yourself and your family safe by tuning into the WHOW platforms on AM, FM, or streamed online, as well as on WEZC 95.9 FM.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, Mr. Ryan Peyton, Superintendent of Blue Ridge Schools, on the Zoom with us here for this morning. Mr. Peyton, your FFA program is really one of the kind of banner programs, one of the things that people most connect Blue Ridge to year after year, and more recognition for that program coming in. Tell me about it. What's going on?
Yeah. So as you know, we've talked about this before, but we are currently the state premier chapter, which puts us at the top chapter, in the state. And we actually just received some information, I believe it was last week, that we have been named a national finalist again. Basically, that just says that we place in the top 10% of all chapters in Illinois. And it's pretty amazing. Right now we're also in Illinois, in our chapter, I should say, section 16, which is our kind of district or area. Mm-hmm. We are the premier chapter. We run basically in all three areas. We were overall awarded as top winner. That's building communities, growing leaders, and strengthening agriculture. And basically next month we'll have the state convention. I believe that's the 9th or the 10th, somewhere in their area. And we'll go there to see if we are the top program for the second consecutive year. So fingers crossed, we'll see. No matter what, our students do an amazing job in that program, and our advisor Jacqueline Meisner does a wonderful job too, coordinating all of that and planning and providing, and getting people where they need to be, really setting them up for success in this program. So We're very thankful.
Yeah, definitely. What goes into that designation? Like what do you have to meet certain benchmarks, or I guess what goes into that?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of that, right? There's a lot of competitions and events that you have to attend. There's a lot of community fundraiser, community things they have to put on, like events, and they all have to basically meet within those 3 areas: building communities, growing leaders, or strengthening ag. So are they setting up things like career fairs, setting up things like food drives? Just all these different kind of components that just go into that overall rating. And so that is a big piece of it. Then obviously just all of the different events that they go to and attend throughout the school year.
Gotcha. Well, another year of recognitions for the Blue Ridge FFA chapter, and like you said, it's one of those programs that is very successful. And let's dive into Mr. Peyton. I've got about 2 minutes here with you to wrap things up. Anything else going on you want to talk about today? Anything on your radar this morning?
I would say the last thing that I'll share is that we had a really exciting event that took place. I believe it was 2 weeks ago. I tell you what, when you get this time of year, everything kind of just,
it's a blur.
Yeah, it is a blur, I tell you. But we, like we've talked about a little bit in the past, we had a big facilities upgrade this year. So this was the first year that, we had a new football field and new all-weather track, concession stand area, and we got to utilize that in the fall. But this is the first time we got to utilize it in the spring. So we hosted our first home track meet in over 20 years. Huge occasion for the district. Just really thankful for a premier and top facility that we have. It really does create a deep sense of pride for our students and community members. Our student athletes, a big part of it. And it was a huge undertaking. Like I said, we haven't put on, a home track meet in many years. And we had so many stakeholders step up. Our AD and principal, they did a great job running the meet in general, getting all of the, events filled and so on, and coaches helped coordinating all of that. Dr. Tresnick actually down at D-Land was our starter, so he came up.
Yeah, he used to officiate track, he told me. That's crazy.
Yeah. So that was really cool. He came up and helped run that with us, and it was, and we had board members there. I mean, I helped run the pole vault. I learned a lot about that event. I didn't do a pole vault in the high school. So, but it was just really cool to see everybody out on a beautiful spring day, getting to see those athletes participate at home, which just hasn't been something that we've been able to do in a very long time.
Sure. Well, on that note, Mr. Peyton, I hate to do this to you. I got to let you go. Ryan Peyton, Superintendent of Blue Ridge Schools, is my guest on the Zoom this morning. Again, the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance.
WHOW.